Dear colleagues, nice to see you again. We'll continue. Let me introduce next speaker, Feodor Medvedev. He is Chief Executive Director at Russia.Study. Please, Feodor, you can start.
Okay, Vladimir. Thank you. Thank you, dear colleagues. Thank you for your time, for coming to my presentation. And first of all, let me give. First of all, let me start actually the presentation because it's a bit a new platform, the PINE platform. Okay. Can you see the presentation? Please type some plus to the chat. Also, we can see how many of us are there. Okay. So we have chat here. We have Q&A sections. Please type something in the chat that I can see that you are there. Okay. Technically, we're okay. So let me start with a brief introduction of what is Russia.Study, what do we do, and the main topic, the main theme of my presentation would be about the challenges that we in the industry faced in this very special year of 2020, and some practices that would help us to overcome those challenges. So we in Russia.Study actually help young people from 180 countries to get the best higher education, the high quality higher education in Russian universities, and affordable education that is also important. And to the Russian universities, we help to improve internationalization KPIs that impacts on how the Ministry of Education evaluates the universities. We help to get them better position in the world rankings by increasing the number of international students. And we also help to finally succeed in the global competition. So we have an online platform that does all that things. We work for 100,000 international students that come to Russia every year. Most of them pay tuition fees, pay for their education, and most of those who pay tuition fees enroll directly to the universities, but still about 35%, it's our estimation based on the service of the university international departments. About 35 of those who pay tuition fees to Russian universities enroll via agencies and different types of external services. Also, we have to mention that every international student buy health insurance and cover all the formal issues such as translation of the documents. What do we do for those students? First of all, we have online admission service where a personal consultant walks online the student through the admission process from the primary request to getting into the student list, covering all the issues with helping to choose universities, with checking the documents with eligibility, and we send the application to the universities and get the answer from the universities within the shortest possible term, as soon as possible. Actually, we do it within 1 day. And after we get the answer from the university, we help to finalize the admission process, getting the visa invitation, and so on. And all of those steps are done online, are done on our own platform that is actually approved by the big numbers, because in Russia we are known for our 3-year-long partnership with the state structure, with Russia.Study, that we gave the system, gave the online mechanism to process the state scholarship program for the international students. We did it for 3 years long. Processing about 100,000 applications per year, and getting the 15,000 students the possibility to enroll to the university. Russia.Study is not a state service, it's a private service, and now our now the cooperation on this issue with Russia.Study is over, and so we now do just a service for the students applying to the universities. The service usually is paid by the applicants themselves, but on some types of university contracts, it could be done free for the applicant. And the second block of our services is an online documents market, where where any person that enters a Russian university, doesn't matter if it applies through Russia.Study or applies directly or applies through agency. It doesn't matter. Any student can get online recognition of education, can get qualified notarized translation of his or her documents into Russian online, and can get a health insurance online. So comparing to the applying directly to the university admission office, we can give some added value to the student, because first of all, we can guarantee admission, because we work with several universities in one application for one price, and we process the application until the student gets enrolled. Also, we call back immediately. We speak students' languages, even if it's Arabic or Indonesian. And if you compare the service to the traditional offline agencies, our prices are transparent, we have no hidden commissions, and students can get a discount up to $1,000 in tuition fee. We have a biggest catalog of Russian education for international students that consists about 15,000 education programs, and we have more than 70 university agreements. All the major Russian universities now work with us, and we are looking quite good in the world top of national web portals. We work globally, and the university are thankful, because we can get them students from not from specific regions, but from all the world. Maybe it could be 1 or 2 students, but it broadens the geography of their student body. So we were globally focusing our sales. I'm sorry. We were globally focusing our sales on target regions such as Central Asia, North Africa, Middle East, Latin America, and we are growing. And in the next season, will get with active sales to China, India, and some other countries. So where do we find the students for our universities? The traditional way of finding students is online. And it's not a mistake that we put a car dealership picture on the slide, because if you enroll into Russian university, the sum of tuition fees that you pay in 4 years compares to a good car price. So yeah, and when you're choosing a car, you usually don't get it online. You have to look at it, you have to sit in it, you have to drive it, and so on. So that's getting back to our market. Universities usually use offline channels to get their applicants, to get their students. But this year, this very special year, almost all those channels were closed because education fairs were cancelled, local agents' offices were closed, B2B events went online, schools went online. So where do we find a Zoomer, Zoomer student this special year? Excuse me for another one car metaphor. It's Tesla. It's a Tesla car that can be actually obtained online. You can, with several clicks, do your order, pay it with a credit card, and after a few days, you can get your car onto your driveway. Unfortunately, Tesla car service isn't available in Russia and isn't available in most of our target countries, but online recruiting services are available. But to build a good recruiting system, first of all, we have to answer the question, who are our audience? Who are they? First of all, they are actually online. The researches show that modern teenagers spend about 1/3 of their day online. And if we look at the distribution, we can see that in developing countries, the amount of time that young people spend online is even more than, for example, in Western Europe. The second thing, they're mobile. They're getting online by their mobile devices. The chart shows the distribution of traffic on Russia.Study platform, and 65% of its audience getting there by mobile devices. What does it mean for us? It means that if you are not accessible online, the 6 accessible from mobile devices, that your admission procedure is not accessible from mobile devices, you are losing about 2/3 of your audience. Look at the map. Our audience, they're chatting. And this map is, if you look at observing it, it looks like a map of colonial empires in the 19th centuries. But now it's a map that shows the empires of 21st century, the empires of messengers. And looking at this map, you can figure out that, for example, Russia, Latin America, most of Africa belong to WhatsApp empire. And for example, United States, some countries in the Northern Africa belong to Facebook Messenger. And there are some independent countries, such as, for example, Uzbekistan and Iran, where Telegram is the most popular messaging app. What does it mean to us? That if we have to contact our audience, we have to use a specific messenger. This diagram shows us that our audience is not, in general, English speaking. For example, just 41%, about 31% of our audience don't speak English at all, and just 21% think that they can speak English fluently. They think so. So if you want to contact them, you should speak their mother language. And their social, this a bit complicated diagram show how the penetration of the social networks are changing in the world now. So if we want to reach them, we have to go to the social networks. So we on Russia.Study ourselves have educational and have IT background, but to make online admission process and to the process of acquiring students, of acquiring users possible and effective, we have to learn those 10 easy steps to acquire students. They're quite obvious, but it's our experience. Maybe it could be useful for you too. The process starts from identifying who your audience are, and actually it never ends. The process never ends, because when you measure and repeat and you correct your actions on the previous steps. So what do we have to do to build a campaign to attract the audience, to acquire the students? First of all, we have to identify our audience. We have to answer the questions, who they are and what do they want, because the audience is not homogeneous, and to attract it, you have to focus on their needs, not your image of what do you do on the market. For example, you can even use a persona method to describe your audience. I'm sorry for the Russian text on the slide. It's actually part of a report that we did for Russia.Study Corporation with a project, within a project that we did on attraction branding the universities we talked with Russia.Study Corporation. It's a fake person, but it's described from the point of his or her interests. The second thing, you should make an offer. The universities in their campaigns actually don't usually make an offer. They describe themselves. We are a very old university. We founded in the year and so on. And so you, when the messages are composed this way, you talk about yourself, not about what is interesting to your audience. So we have an example of two offers. I think it's obvious that the topper offer is much better, is slightly better than the bottom one. So then you have to choose channels. Which channels to use to get to your audience. The good thing is that our market is built so that the audience is very responsive, and the leads are actually cheap. If you do the right thing, you can get, for example, the leads from social media just for $1 per lead. It's a very it's not a very high price, but on the next steps there are other side of this. So if you when you create the messages, you should wrap the points, you should wrap your offer in a very short text on what describes your offer. Once again, we have two examples, and the left one is slightly better than the right one. So it's time when it's time to launch the campaign. It's actually a technical thing, and you in your team and your university admission office team, you have to have a technical specialist that knows how to launch the campaigns in the system that you're using. So after this, you landing the traffic, and the landing page actually must consist of two big parts. One big part, and the one big problem that the landing page should solve, it should explain the values, and it should answer to the questions that your user has. And also the most important thing is the landing page. I think it's CTA, so call to action. Then you, with your landing page, you collect the leads. And the key points to the good landing page is easy registration, first contact. You speak with user language, communicate on messages, and so on. Also, two examples of our host university from our Ural Federal University, and both of them are good ones. And to convert the leads into your students, you have to build up at same machine and arm it with machine, with analytic tools, with CRM, and so on, with scripts. That's what do we do in Russia.Study when we convert the lead from qualification to actually giving here her a possibility to enroll. So the drawback of our market is that the leads itself are very cheap, but the conversions of that leads are quite low. For example, if you do anything right, your conversion would be about 1% or lower. If you are a university, or as we ourselves, if you're a service, you can get, for example, from 1 to 5% conversion. So to perform, you should measure, and you should ask your marketing department, the guys that do your campaigning, what of those indicators are actually what do you know? How many audience was attracted by a campaign? How many clicks do you have from each campaign? How many leads do you get from those clicks? What is the CTA rate? What is the how many does one click cost, and so on. From this, you build up a model that answer the question: is your campaign profitable? Is there any sense of what we're doing? And if you and always you have an a room to improve the indicators, and after improving the indicators, you get back to step one. So when we work with our universities, we processing, we are doing it step by step for those universities. So let's do it together. I say to the Russian universities that are seeing my presentation now, and I think it's time to answer questions, if we have some. Can you share any success story cases? Okay, for example, some numbers of the case some numbers of the case were at one of our slides. For example, this apps. Sorry guys, I'm looking for the slide. Oh, that's it. So the numbers from the actual campaign that we held this season in social media and in search engines, the campaigns that led the audience to our service of admission, and we targeted the company to the countries that you see on the slide. It's Africa, it was Latin America, and Arabic-speaking countries and Central Asia countries. What do we get? The CPL was from $1 to $3 per lead. It means that if you convert those leads with a 1.5% conversion, you have a very, very good profit. You have very good results from those conversion. Though the CR rate itself is not so high, but when you multiplicate it by the checks, it's a very good result. The good news for the universities is that due to the huge profit that the university gained from the students, your unit economy, and what we do here is actually unit economy. Unit economy would be positive almost any time, and so.
Feodor, I need to tell you that we have next session in 2 minutes. So
okay. We have.
If there are no more questions, I suggest to finalize, summarize your presentation.
Thank you, Vladimir. Thank you for those who have seen my presentation.
Yeah.
The next session online.
Sure. Thank you so much. I guess that all participants could contact you if they're interested in your project and your technology, digital technology of recruiting students. You can find contact information about Feodor Medvedev in attendee list. How social media is helpful for process of social marketing. Unfortunately, we can't answer right now because we have next session. Thank you, Feodor.
Thank you for your attention. See you next time.